You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hello and welcome to episode 285 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Hey everybody, it's Sean back at you with another exciting episode as always. I am here in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What? Why the hell am I there? Well, that's a good question. I'm here with my stepdaughter Dakota and her friend, boyfriend, fiance, husband, / whatever he is, Luke. And we're going to be talking about home. What do you guys think about that?
It's good to be home.
As a note, at any point that could be changing by the time this comes out, that title.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this won't come out for a week and a half.
Yeah.
Yes. So, as of this recording being released, I have been back home in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario for about a year. From Timmins, Ontario, Canada, where I lived for 19 years, where I actually met Dakota, where I was engaged to her mother, had a son with her mother. That's your brother, Bishop.
It is.
He's not here right now.
He's not.
No. But anyway, long story short, you and Luke were on the podcast on episode 268, talking about the 90-day fiancé, how you're engaged and trying to get married. All your paperwork still hasn't come through.
No.
Not yet. Nothing has been processed.
Check hasn't even been cashed yet.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, you think the government wants the money, right?
You would think so.
Yeah.
Yes. So the original idea for this podcast was I wanted to talk about what it was like being home for a year. And pretty much it's been fantastic. I was so scared to move, to upend my life in Timmins because I'd been there for so long and come back home. And yes, of course, it wouldn't be a podcast without a dog freaking out. So
She's fine.
That's Dora. What is she doing?
She's getting into stuff.
Oh,
Apologize.
Yeah, so it was yesterday that, 2 days ago, that Dakota and Bishop and your cousin Ashton drove from Timmins to Sault Ste. Marie with your dog and your stuff. And you stayed over at my place for a night. And then yesterday, we drove, you and me, for 8 hours?
8 or 9 hours. It was long.
From Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, all the way to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we are right now. It was whiteout conditions. There was trouble at the border. They didn't want to let you in.
No.
But we got there. We finally made it.
We did. I made it through.
It was exhausting, but we did it, and we're here. And for me, being home, going back home after 19 years was the scariest thing I'd ever done, the hardest decision to make, but I did it, and I don't regret it. I've never missed Timmins in the year that I've been gone. Of course, I miss the people, but the actual town and my life there, not even a little bit. You lived there all your life.
I have, and you've told me all my life to get out of Timmins.
Actually, we had some pretty good conversations on the road trip here.
We did.
You were telling me about the things that I had taught you throughout your life.
Yes.
So that was pretty cool.
You've taught me a lot. You've taught me a lot throughout my life. You've taught me to never say I hate someone that I love. You've taught me, always go early on a Sunday morning to a garage sale.
Among other things you were telling me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were recounting entire conversations that we've had that I don't recall at all, but they've stuck in your brain.
They have. You've made an impact.
Yes. And so now here we are all these years later, and we took a road trip to what is going to be your new home.
My new home, yeah.
Is that scary? Was it hard for you to leave Timmins?
Not hard to leave Timmins, hard to leave the people.
Exactly.
Same thing. I'm so happy to be gone, leaving Timmins.
Was it a hard decision?
No.
No?
No. It was very easy for me to make this decision.
Yeah, you weren't afraid of leaving your life behind?
Not at all.
None of that stuff?
No, not afraid at all of that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And you, sir?
Yes.
You moved from Arizona,
Yes.
where you lived your entire life,
Yes.
and you've been here in Milwaukee for how long?
Just over a year now.
Just over a year now. Okay. And was that a scary decision?
Not in the same way. It was scary for the first time being on my own. I've always lived with family members.
Right.
I lived with my parents because they were very understanding of college and stuff like that. And then when I finally moved out, I actually moved in with my brother and his wife.
Okay.
And they were very accommodating with my needs and everything as well. So I've always been with family, at least my immediate family. But after so much of that, it is refreshing, like, to get away from it. Now, in most cases, people don't typically move across the country or out of country.
That's
in
true.
Dakota's case, but to get away from that. But my family's been super supportive of it, and it is difficult being away from it. But in the case of my parents, they actually probably see me more now than when we lived in the same city.
Was that right?
Yeah, when I was living with my brother and his wife, we didn't go over that often. Basically just holidays, birthdays, and stuff like that. When we were in the same city.
Right.
But now they have they fly standby. They have free flights, so
Okay.
they come up pretty much any chance they get.
Oh, nice.
And so I actually probably see them now more than I did when I was in the city with them.
And how far is Arizona to here, roughly?
A while. It is about, I kind of time by flights.
Yeah.
So it's about a 3-hour flight.
Okay.
I've never actually done the math on mileage, but
If you were to drive it, it would probably take a couple days.
3 days, I think,
days.
was the timing
Okay.
on it. That's, of course, with stops,
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
Sleeping and all that.
I think if you were to drive it straight, it's technically 30 hours.
So long enough.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good time. But if flight, my family always does flights and stuff, so about a 3-hour flight,
Okay.
2.5, 3-hour
Not
flight.
not horrible.
No, and like I said, they pretty much, whenever they have time that lines up, they'll find a way to come up. My sister and brother haven't yet, but I don't blame them for that. My brother doesn't like flying, and my sister has a lot going on otherwise. So.
Right, but all your family's still back in Arizona.
Yeah,
And,
everyone is.
and you're here. You'd never been to Milwaukee before.
No.
Tell the listeners how you figured out where you wanted to live and how you bought the house.
So the process was actually way more simple than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
We were originally looking more East Coast, like even more East Coast. We started our search in Rochester, New York, looking online for all the options there. And the options thereof, we started looking in things like St. Louis, Louisville, all that kind of stuff. And then one of my favorite coffee roasters that I ordered from quite often happened to be in Milwaukee. I made a joke to Dakota about moving here for the coffee roasters, and we actually started looking, and it was affordable housing, very diverse population, a lot of amenities met, but not a super metro,
Right.
like I was in Arizona.
Okay.
Phoenix super metro.
Yeah, I guess,
For
yeah.
anyone who understands what that is.
Mm-hmm.
The process of actually buying the house was a lot easier than what I would have thought. I got approved for my loan very early on, got in contact with a realtor through that mortgage company,
Okay.
and we started looking at houses, pretty much started doing a digital walkthrough.
Because you stayed in
Yeah, I stayed in Arizona at the time. I did have a time limit because my lease was going to be up in February of 2022. So,
It was still really cool though, because I got to go they did it all through Zoom.
yes.
So I
Dakota
got
was
to
able to see as well.
See the houses and stuff too.
So you both did a walkthrough over the internet.
Yeah, and we checked out.
Didn't have to be here at all.
No, I did come up first to do an in-person walkthrough of this place.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 places.
Okay.
Kind of our deciding to, as we were approaching our time limit in January. And so I was just like, we got to get one of them. Came up, did the walkthrough, decided this was the one that I wanted to go with. And basically, all the paperwork was taken care of for me, setting it up.
Right.
I flew up here on the 20th of February of last year, somewhere around there. Signed the final documents and walked in with the keys.
Nice.
My realtor drove me here. Realtors up here are actually incredible. I'm sure other places too, but I worked with 2 up here.
Okay.
And both were absolutely incredible in helping me get it set up with my security system, so on and so forth. Getting things set up for Dakota to come down, and it was overall surprisingly easy experience.
Good. That's fantastic. Well, before we talk anything else, we're going to play a promo for another podcast right here on the ESO Network. It's time for a promo for the Epsilon 3 podcast.
The Epsilon 3? What do we talk about?
It's a Babylon 5 rewatch podcast.
Babylon 5? What's that?
It's the greatest 1990s sci-fi show in history.
How are we going to watch it?
With glee and excitement.
How would we rate those kind of episodes?
Out of jump gates.
How many jump gates?
Out of 5 jump gates.
Because it's Babylon 5.
That is correct. If you go to Zahadum, you will die. But you know what you won't do? You won't die listening to the Epsilon 3 podcast, right here on the ESO Network. And we're back. So, we've been here for a day now, Dakota.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about being together finally?
I like it. I'm really happy to be here.
And how do you feel about her invading your space?
I've done a great job at doing that.
Yeah. There's already a bunch of stuff everywhere now. I'm excited. I'm a very minimalistic person. I enjoy my own space as well, but I've been yearning for this for at least 3 years, like wanting to be in person and all that. We've been together 5 years now, so it's been something we've been working towards actually doing. So there was no hesitation for me about wanting Dakota down here.
That's good. And now that she's actually here, and you know she's going to be staying,
yes.
How do you feel?
I'm ecstatic again. There's nothing but this is what I want to, and it feels natural. It feels like
Perfect.
This is what it was supposed to be like. This house doesn't feel like, it feels better now that it's not just me in it.
Right, exactly. Okay, and you? Does this feel like home yet?
Not yet, but I'll make it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things that are missing, a couple things that I'm like, oh, we need to pick this up, we need to pick this up.
So
I'll make this house a home.
We're talking about the tub coffee tables.
Yeah,
gotta
coffee
go away.
tables.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need tubs anymore.
Right, because you're using totes.
Yeah.
Totes as a coffee.
Yeah, because I've been looking around and it's both of your home, but it feels very bachelor pad-ish.
It is, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And that is originally was on purpose. Dakota was going to bring down a bunch of furniture.
Yeah.
But Border Patrol.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of a border snafu.
A little bit of a hang up there.
Yeah, you were going to come here. I was going to drive. Well, I drove you here.
Yep.
And you were going to be here forever.
Yep. I was going to try.
But of course, you didn't get your paperwork in, so we were just going to go for a visit for a bit.
Yeah.
And we told the border people, oh, you're just going to stay a month or two to see if this is going to work out. And we had too much stuff in the car, so they said, oh, it looks like you're moving here. We're not allowing that.
Yeah.
So we had to turn around, go back to my place, figure out the paperwork, so that they knew you were actually coming back home.
Yeah.
And not just trying to illegal immigrate.
Right. Well, because I knew, like, without all the paperwork, I knew I might have to come back. Like, that was never
Right.
out of the question or
Yeah.
anything.
It's just
but
the eventual plan that this is
Yeah.
going to be
We
working.
thought we'd get the full.
I thought I could
6
bring
months.
things over. I thought
Right.
I could, just slowly bring it in.
But
Yeah.
they didn't like that.
They didn't like that at all.
So we left some stuff at my place.
Yep.
And you're here for 2 weeks.
I'm here for 2 weeks.
How many weeks?
2.
Excuse me? 2 weeks.
Which you guys didn't get that reference until I explained it
No.
yesterday. But that's okay. Total Recall, 1990. And so, yeah, and on, 2 weeks from yesterday, you have to go back to the border.
Yes.
And come back to Canada for a bit. You're going to stay with me because we're not driving you all the way back to Timmins.
No, I'm not making that trip again.
Nope, that's a long drive.
I'm not getting set back up, and that's would add on another 12 hours there and back.
Exactly.
And then I mean, depending, staying there, and then that's just more time for specifically you to drive.
Right.
Which is just torture at that point.
That's a lot of driving. Yeah. So we're doing everything by the book. You have to get your passport re-signed by the Border Patrol to say that, yes, you were here for 2 weeks only.
And then I came back. I did what they told me to do.
Yes.
I have to go back.
That's right. That's right. But eventually, once all the paperwork comes in and you get your fiancé visa and all that good stuff, this will actually be your home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
I guess so. You must be ecstatic too.
Yeah, once the government gets their butt in gear.
It's taken them a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just baffled that they're not cashing a check. And it's not like it could bounce. It's a cashier's check.
And how long ago did you send it in?
End of February. So February 27th, I believe, is when it was actually
Okay,
sent.
so a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they would have cashed it by now.
So I'm assuming something went wrong, but...
Or they're just slow, they're backed up maybe.
Man, I don't trust it.
Even if they're backed up, you'd think that they'd cash the check and then get the paperwork done afterwards.
Well, if they haven't processed even the envelope, who knows what's going on, right? So
Yeah.
who knows? The world is crazy right now, so it's hard to say. But home.
Home.
You're home.
I'm home.
You're home.
Yes.
I'm home. Well, not right now.
Not right now.
But tomorrow I'm driving back home.
Yeah.
That's going to be a long drive.
It's going to be a long drive. I'm going to stop.
Should be clear, though.
It should be clear. It's crazy snowing right now. It snowed like crazy on the way here.
It was scary.
supposed-
Complete whiteout.
Oh yeah, we had to go real slow. But we did stop at a Family Dollar and get some Hot Wheels.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yes,
Some fancy ones.
some fancy ones. And today we drove around and explored the city so you could see where your new home is going to be.
Yes.
Got some more Hot Wheels.
Yes,
And you guys got a laundry basket.
we
Got
did.
So that was good. You're already making it home.
Yeah. Told you I would.
Yes.
Just spent some time down by the lake, Lake Michigan.
Yes, the nice marina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful park down there. Was covered in snow, so maybe a little less, but...
Well,
A little cold.
It was a little chilly today, but that's all right. We're Canadians, nothing we can't handle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and all the old buildings are amazing. The architecture is
Yes.
incredible here.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Everything in Milwaukee, or I should say, about 80% of Milwaukee was built 100 years ago and is still standing. So you can, going through it, looks like you're stepping right into the 1950s, 1940 era.
Very much so.
Yeah, and it exudes just this nostalgia throughout.
I love the huge clock tower. That was so pretty.
Yeah, big old clock tower, a whole district named after it.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Just a lot of history here as well. Not all of it good, but there is a lot of history. A lot of triumph and difficulties throughout all of American
Oh, for sure.
kind of growth.
Yeah.
And we're still working on it, obviously.
Everything's a work in progress, right? Yeah. So things are finally coming together for you guys.
They are, finally.
Yes.
5 years.
It's been a long 5 years.
It has been a long 5 years. It was a long 19 years for me up in Timmins.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm getting out.
So everybody's finally getting to their homes.
Yeah.
Or at home. So that's nice. Any thoughts about regrets or fears that you guys have? Or
No. There's part of me that would have wished I gave myself more time to actually look for housing, maybe be more patient, see what the market was like. But I was on a time crunch, and we weren't 100% sure where we wanted to end up, so we were just kind of bouncing around at that point. I will say, if anyone is looking for advice on that, just give yourself time. The right house will appear for what you're looking for.
and it's a cute little house.
It is a cute. I'm not disappointed with this house, except for the one bathroom. But that's just a northern thing. Period. Very little houses up here have 2 bathrooms, full bathrooms anyway. Don't know why, just a thing. So if you're looking, just give yourself the time you need. You feel maybe a month extra to actually find that perfect house for you.
Find the perfect home.
Yeah, find the perfect home.
There you go. And whether you guys stay here in Milwaukee or move back to Arizona, the future is wide open.
Yeah, we've also thought about going to I can't remember the name.
Nova
Canada,
Scotia?
Nova Scotia. If we end up on Canada side, that's kind of where we've been looking.
It's beautiful out there. I was
Yeah.
there 4 years ago.
Yeah,
So-
the housing market is actually pretty good up there.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
Surprising. I was surprised what I saw there. It was pretty good properties. For
go. Beautiful
decent-
country.
I I need to be near water. I don't know why that's a thing for me.
I totally get it.
Yeah. So ocean is preferable, but the Great Lakes are pretty much an ocean in the middle of the country. So
And that's what I found about Timmins. I was born and raised in Sault Ste. Marie, big lakes.
yeah,
I moved to North Bay, Lake Nipissing.
yeah.
Moved to Timmins, nothing.
Nothing.
A little crappy pond in the middle of town, but that's about it.
That's it.
So
And that
yeah,
one that's close to the airport that fills up
right?
and then dries up.
Yeah. So I totally get wanting to be by the water.
Yeah, I've been raised in Arizona, but I was also raised around a lot of lakes.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up fishing with my grandmother, so it's just always been a thing for me.
Makes sense to me.
And ocean is always preferable for me, specifically cold oceans. I'm not a big fan of the California, Florida beach area.
Gotcha.
Also, not a big fan of California or Florida. So.
Oh, there you go.
But we've thought about a lot of options where our final home will be.
Mm-hmm.
That's never something you can predict.
No, definitely not.
It's going to be Dakota and I together during that.
That's all that matters.
So that's the home, no matter where it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, as long as you end up together, that's the only thing that matters. And just like you can't predict, because I never knew I'd come back to the Sioux. I thought I'd die in Timmins, and I was
Pretty sure most people think they'll die in Timmins.
I was dying in Timmins, so I'm not sad to be gone out of there, and I bet you're not either.
No, I'm very happy to be gone. Very happy to be here.
This is turning into an anti-Timmins.
A little bit. Don't mean it that way.
Well, you know what? Every podcast is an anti-Timmins podcast. So there is that. So yeah. So I think what we'll do is another podcast once you got your permanent residency. You guys have been together for a while. Probably gotten married by that point.
Probably.
And-
Paperwork-wise, yeah.
In fact, I'll probably be down here for that wedding.
You probably will.
So I will bring the recording equipment and we'll talk again.
Sounds good.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say?
I've said my piece.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right, listeners, thanks for coming by the Soul Forge and listening to this exciting episode about homecoming. Hope you take care of yourselves and each other. Leave a 5-star review in the podcatcher of your choice. And remember to ask yourself what is really important and then have the wisdom and courage to build your life around your answer. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Soul Forge podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope you'll tune in again next time. Remember that you can visit soulforgepodcast.com for all of our social media links, and don't forget to share the show with everyone you know. The Soul Forge podcast is your best source for living your best life.
Think about it.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.